Hey there, it's AB, Drunk News. This is Drunk News. Nne. And nne is how you say four in Swahili. That was a lot of finger meat up in your face. It's not really cool, is it, to put that much finger in your face? So I'm in a new venue here, and it's a different look. I got a different look. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Welcome to Drunk News. I'm AB. I'm not wearing any pants. I traded in the green blazer for this outstanding outfit. Everybody has to do dry cleaning. So green blazer went to dry cleaning. The hat remains. I do have a fantastic cape. Does it have an Intox Detox logo on the back? I don't know. Come be on my show and stand behind me and you'll know. We're going to have some guests soon. I'm going to talk about that. I got some exciting things planned. But aside from my cape and my hat, I've got this amazing Ireland jersey. And if you're looking at it and going, that's not so amazing. Adidas hasn't been the sponsor for the Republic of Ireland for decades. Well, this is my actual 1990 Italia 90 Republic of Ireland jersey. Big year for the Republic of Ireland. They squeaked through on the old points system and had some incredible games with some big fish, and they really shook things up in Italy, who I believe won the Golden Boot for scoring a lot of goals from 2 yards away. Anyway, I was obsessed with those tapes when I was a kid, as were all my friends. And this jersey just brings joy to me. Number one, because I'm Irish. Number two, because if my Irish cousins see this, they're going to be like, oh my God, where did he even get that? Like, even by now, they have thrown these jerseys out. Nobody's keeping these jerseys anymore. Nobody's talking about Packy Bonner or any of the players that played for those teams back then. It doesn't matter, because I remember and I'm wearing it and I'm celebrating them. That's what we're doing. We're celebrating things on Drunk News. That's how we do it. So I also had a thought, and it was just a weird random thought, and that's what I like to share with you, because you are my sounding board that never talks back. It's perfect. It's amazing. Anyway, I was thinking about, a future limited. Of course, you got to protect your delicate brain meat, because it is my connection is unstable. Really, Google? What are you doing to me right now? Are we stable again? Then you just stay more still. Stay stable. I'm totally stable right now. Anyway, I was imagining a world where you would dry clean put your brain in a different body and just kind of like put it in another one and just be like, what do I feel like being today? Do I want to be a white dude? Do I want to be a jacked Samoan dude? Do I want to be like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Who do I want to be today? And you could just do that. That would be weird, right? Not so different from me wearing a cape and a 1990s Republic of Ireland jersey instead of a green blazer. It's kind of the same thing. If you can follow that logic, then you can figure out the key to the brain of AB. And God help you if you do. I want to mention our sponsor, which I am going to need some help. Intox Detox helps to protect your liver and avoid the misery of the next morning when you have some drinks. Speaking of drinks, we're going to have one. And I hope you will join me, because I've got some toasts, got a lot of stuff to do. And remember how I said before, everyone always says, oh, we got a great show. Well, we have a mediocre show. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's just going to be okay. So stick around if you like a show that's better than you can do, but not as good as real TV. That's the kind of show we're trying to do here. My disclaimer, as always, is inspired if you have watched and realized that I kind of copied it from Gerald Celente, who I love. He's from the Trends Research publication, and very smart guy who I enjoy listening to his interviews. He says, think for yourself. I say, drink for yourself. But I also agree with think for yourself. So I double them up. It's a couplet. Think for yourself, drink for yourself. That's it. That's my disclaimer. I'm not an advisor. Anything I say, financial or otherwise, political or about alcohol or supplements, it's purely entertainment. So take it with a grain of salt, although everything I say is 100% true. Moving on, we're making a drink, but it's going to be super easy this time. I've got a little glass of vino here. It's this one, Cooper and Thief. I don't know if Cooper was the thief or if the thief partnered with Cooper and they're like, you steal the grapes and I'll make the wine. Like, what was the deal between Cooper and Thief? Anyway, it's a red wine aged in bourbon barrels. I've already poured it. You can pretend that I'm pouring it. Blah, 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 blah. I already poured it. And that will be our drink for the evening. And if I run out, I'll just have to run out of the room and you'll have to wait. Because obviously the drink is far more important than you. Jeez. So we got to synchronize the liver, which I've got my little pack of Intox Detox here. I'm going to go ahead and take it because I want to make sure that I'm protected while I'm divulging the truth to you through Drunk News. This is a Gatorade Zero. Seems a good product. I usually shy away from the artificial sweeteners, but, you know, life is full of exceptions. This is here, and I need something to drink it with. I don't really like to take my Intox Detox with red wine. It's just not, it's not a happy swallow. It doesn't make you happy. Not a good way to take pills. This is the way to go. A little bit of electrolytes never hurt either. So, in case you were wondering, this episode is totally thrown together at the last minute, but it's still going to be awesome. I mean, it was like making a snowball. I just picked up a big mass of icy snow and I just went like this. And now we're going to throw. Everybody likes a snowball in the face, right? We're going to have a toast. Glad that I synchronized the liver because I'm going to need it. And you'll see why when I get to the shot of truth, which is a surprise. I'm a little scared of it, actually. So here's our toast. Comes from an Irish fella. Far more brilliant than I. Quite a writer. Well known. A Dubliner, I believe. His name is Oscar Wilde. After the first glass, you see things as you wish they were. After the second, you see things as they are not. Finally, you see things as they really are. And that is the most horrible thing in the world. Cheers. Sláinte. The Hangover. Maybe life is just pain and suffering, and The Hangover is a perfect kind of whatever exemplary feeling to understand what life feels like. Or are we just talking about intoxication? I don't know. Maybe we'll get him on as him up. I'm sure he's buried somewhere in Ireland, and he's already written things better than I'll ever write in my life, probably. So that's depressing. I wanted to give you a new segment, which is Drunk on Netflix. If you ever, you've heard of Netflix and chill. I'm more into chill and Netflix, which is where I make a drink and then I watch Netflix. I'd prefer to do it with someone else if there's someone to watch it with me. But if there's not, then, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And it's funny that I call it Drunk on Netflix because this program is not really on Netflix, which is weird that I did that. Again, the snowball, last minute snowball. But I do recommend that you check out American Gods. This is my sister recommended this to me. I see a lot of stuff in it. A lot of stuff's going on. And I think there's they've been inspired by some people that I love. I can tell by the music and the way that they shoot it and the way that they're writing and everything. But it's absolutely very, very amazing and different than anything you've seen, which is what I like about it. I don't tend to be into sort of occult. I like sci-fi. I like time travel and like Star Wars and Star Trek and Black Mirror, the sci-fi element, like what if? What if? That's fun for me. I don't go like, oh, that's not real. No, I like delving into worlds where you can find new realities and just play in that world. And, you know, maybe that's the writer in me that just wants to explore other worlds and in and outside of my comfort zone in my mind. But that's very much where this show is at. So I like it. It's about gods. It's about gods. It's about how there's all these different gods, and like gods need to be worshiped to live, and they need to be believed in. So, you know, it's kind of that chicken and the egg thing. Which came first, the gods or the people's belief in the gods? And they're kind of walking that line, but the story focuses on Wednesday, who most of us in the English speaking world, our word for Wednesday comes from Woden, which is Odin, which is an old god, a very, very old god of the Norse, you know, very interesting. And so Wednesday is kind of leading a revolution because he wants to root out the new gods that are taking over. And the new gods, excuse me, let me adjust my cape here. Speaking of gods, the new gods are taking over, and they're these gods like the media. These are American gods, Mr. World, which I'm thinking is like some kind of globalist conspiracy, which, depending on who you ask, is a very real thing. I'm on the fence sometimes. I like the corporatist part of it. I believe is absolutely true. I'm not trying to be political right now. I'm just saying that I do think that corporations conspire to control people. Because if you can control people, you can control their purchases and you can control money. And there's a lot of power involved in that. So there's media, there's Mr. World, there's the tech kid, this tech kid who's always like vaping synthetic toad skins or whatever the hell he's doing. I'm like, but honestly, he's a millennial. It's like, what the hell are these kids doing? I don't know half the time. I understand the words they're saying. I just don't really always understand the words they're saying. I don't always understand the context. It's because I'm getting old. And, you know, when I was a kid and like we all had our cool hit job lingo and nobody knew what that meant. It was great to be young and cool and to know what was going on, but no longer. And that is what's going on in this, except they're gods. And the knowing, because the main character is a very attractive African-American man, and his name in the show is Shadow Moon. Sounds like a god to me. So I'm thinking the premise is that people can rise to the level of gods. And when you look at celebrity in our culture, you can kind of actually see that in a way. I mean, I think that a lot of celebrities that, you know, they live in such, what's the word? Just completely detached worlds that maybe they've come to see themselves as, you know, like gods. They just don't even connect with the reality that they're people anymore. I mean, how could you? If everyone's always trying to serve you and worship you and clap to you and bow down to you, basically praying to you, why would you not just believe the hype and drink the Kool-Aid and say, I must be a god. That must be what it is. And it must be me. It's not, I don't know. It's fascinating. I as much as I don't like the spiritual side of like a white god sitting on a throne in the clouds, as much as that sort of, to me, even is insulting to even people that are religious, because I just think it's such a gross simplification. As much as I'm not into that, the show it's really, I could see it being controversial to people that are religious, because first of all, they would say there's only one God, obviously. But, and then, you have to ask them, well, people in China think there's only one God too. And why are you more right than them? I mean, hey, I'm just asking the questions. I don't know the answers. If I knew the answers, I would be God. And maybe I am. Or maybe at least in the sense of the show, I could rise to become a god. I mean, I have one subscriber right now, so I'm the god to one person, and I think it's my friend. So if you're just gonna be a god to your friends, I guess that's pretty cool. But it's not like being a real god. Well, that wasn't my goal anyway. My goal was just to have some fun, get on here, have some drinks, talk a little bit. So the other thing I like about it is what makes gods powerful is believing in them. So what came first? Was it the chicken or the egg? What came first? Do gods exist because they've always been here, or because people believe in them? Discuss amongst yourselves for a moment while I pan to our next topic. It's the first show of the year. Happy freaking New Year. Oh my God, we made it. We did it. You guys survived the new year. It's a new year. We added one to the thing. Big freaking deal. It is and it isn't. I mean, if you're lucky, you get to do it 100 odd times. And, that's not a lot of times to do something. I mean, 100 times? How many times do you think you tie your shoelaces? It's like, got to be hundreds of thousands of times. It's very meaningless. Like, if they tried to have a New Year's Eve party, every time you tied your shoe, like a new tie shoe party, like it would be nothing. But it's because we're human beings placed on a timeline that the year is significant. Months, a little significant. Weeks, hardly. A day goes by, 2 days go by. Who cares? But a year, that's a big deal. And even more so, I lived through a millennium change, pluralities, grammar. But I mean, that was a big deal, Everyone thought the world was going to end. All the computers were going to take over the world or blow themselves up, or Skynet, or John Connor was going to come and be like, we got to go back to the future. Mixing things up, but it's pretty much the same story, sort of. Does that make Arnold Doc Brown? Mixing metaphors is dangerous. My brain might explode. So it is the first show of the year, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for a new year. I love life. I love New Year's. It's new opportunity, but it's also just another day. So don't get too excited. I mean, don't wait for the new year to make things happen. Do it every day. Every day is a new chance. Let's talk about guests. I've got 3 guests in mind. Well, I've got a lot in mind, but I've got one that I've been chasing. I've got one that's a girl. Can you imagine a girl? All of this wit and personality and drink making ability, and a girl? That would be awesome. Plus, it's just nice to have girls around. If you're a boy who likes girls. If you're a boy who likes boys, it's just nice to have boys around. But I'm not that guy. I'm not that boy. So, a girl would be a big boon to me. Even if we were on Google Hangout and she has a boyfriend and she's too far away to touch her boob, which I wouldn't do anyway, because that's not respectful. I'm just saying, if you had to look, if you had the choice of looking at somebody, I'd be like, a girl would be nice to have on the show because it would appeal to a whole other dimension of people. That being said, there's two other guests that I'm keeping in mind. One is an old friend and one is a new friend. And that is as specific as I'm going to get as he takes a drink of his wine. Wine drunk, AB, is a little different. We've had liquor drunk and we've had beer drunk. We're about to get crazy drunk. That's going to be a whole different thing. That's why we're doing Swahili today. Nne. That's how you say four. I look that shit up. I even listened to the tutorial. I listened to it like nne times. Let's listen to nne times. Let's listen to it 4 times to make sure I would get it right. Because I don't want to insult people that actually speak Swahili. I'm not making fun of Swahili. I think it's awesome. I want to learn all the languages. I wish I could get paid to just listen to language tapes and take quizzes about it. I was really good at that. That's basically why I majored in French. I could read stuff in French or listen to it and just be like, conjugate all the verbs all day long. All day long. I mean, I'm out of practice, but I bet you if you were like, what is the passé simple of the verb to come, I could probably figure it out. I could probably know almost all of them. I just have memory like that. It's a strength I have, but I also want to travel the world, so I'd like to learn languages. I'd like to go to China. It'd be nice if we could stop having a trade war with China, which brings us up to our next topic. Look how I'm transitioning here. Segway. Chimpanzee riding on a Segway. Chimpanzee riding on a Segway. I'm also very simple-minded, so I went back to something more comfortable than deep thoughts. But yeah, I'd like to go to China. I'd like to learn their language. My name is Andy. Although I don't think I have the accent right on. I know it's Wodesesha Andy, but I think whoa, like the way they say whoa, which is I or me or whatever, it's like very difficult to do for somebody like us. And I think Chinese, you'll find when you hear them speak, they sound like in the way that Germans sound to me, to be like very like aggressively, like they speak like, you know, they speak hard. They're like whoa. And it sounds exaggerated, but you know, I think Americans are our whole. I don't know. I've heard other people say of our language that it's brutish and like not pretty, and you know, French flows and it's like, je t'aime, je veux marcher sur le pied, whatever. Like wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, it sounds pretty. It's like that Simpsons episode where they're like, les grenouilles mangent les pamplemousses. It sounds really pretty, but it means frogs eat grapefruits. It makes no sense whatsoever. You can say total nonsense in some languages and it sounds beautiful, like Italian, bella sera, you know, like just everything's pretty. English is a little bit more like, I'm going to the store. You know, it's a little bit more, maybe it's a little more brutish. I don't know. There's that Germanic part of English that comes from, you know, sort of the northern people that a lot of them came to England and became those people. This is clearly not my strength, the history of language, but I'd like to learn to speak more languages. And China had a big wall. Guess who else wants a big wall? I don't think you can guess. Well, the one wall that we are building is an impenetrable divide. Impenetrable. Words you should not try to say when you're drinking red wine. Impenetrable wall has been built between Trump and pretty much everybody else. I mean, a lot of Republicans are going to pretend to be on his side, but I don't even think a lot of them are on his side. And look, I'm not expressing my opinion. I don't even care what you think of my opinion because I'm not going to tell you. I will tell you that we got to get over this wall one way or another, right? We can't let this metaphorical wall stand in our way forever. And I think that politics is all about building walls and saying, hey, I'm over here, look who's over there, and being divisive. And it's a very divisive subject. So if the goal is to divide us, then somebody's winning. If the goal is to bring us together, well, the people are losing. That's all I have to say about that. And we'll leave that there. Feel free to comment and troll me and say whatever the hell you want because I don't really care. It's your freedom to do that. Say whatever you want. I just want an America that is free. We don't all have to agree. We have to respect each other. We have to live together under the rule of law. And if we can't do that, then let's build a real wall. Maybe that wall isn't at the border. Maybe there's a new border. I would never want the U.S. to split up into multiple countries, but the way things are going, it seems like a covert or maybe even overt civil war going on. It's not with guns right now. It's being fought with words and a lot of underhanded stuff. I think the real Americans on the street, we don't fight as dirty as the way they do on the Hill. They're very shady. I think you deal with a person. I just think of being in a bar, you have a disagreement with someone and it's like, look, there's a couple types of guy, okay? I know myself. I'm the type of guy, I'm going to be a diplomat. I'm going to try to negotiate some kind of agreement, okay? And then there's the guy that just wants to punch everything. So the question is, like, which guy are you? And there's a time and place for both of those guys, maybe someone, I don't know, someone's mistreating my sister or someone in my family or my child. I'm going to be the guy that's going to want to punch his way to a solution. But when it comes to matters of the mind and where our country is going and what direction we want to go as a people, I think maybe we need to step back and, as I've said before, have an adult conversation. Is the color yellow, so they're yellow jackets. And apparently this goes on. It's not well reported in the mainstream media, but I hear my alternative media people still talking about it, and they are causing trouble. They're just like, look, we are not going to put up with this. The middle class of many countries, they're fed up. Just like this banker control, just financial engineering and, of law. There's two classes. The rule of law, the rules are different for different people. You need look no further than certain things, like the Clinton Foundation. I mean, crimes have been committed. It's provable. Now, again, I'm not partisan, but if crimes are committed, I don't care how rich you are, you should go to jail. They're starting it with this celebrity pedophile and sexual abuse, pursuing all these people, Kevin Spacey and stuff like that. That's a good start, but they need to look at the government. They need to look at the banking system. They need to look at London. They need to look at human trafficking, because these are the people, not that some of these celebrities haven't committed, and they do need to be punished. But I'm just glad that we're seeing, hey, maybe the rule of law does apply even to people of more means. Because if people like you or I, the mucky muck that they walk on, do these crimes, they would lock us up and throw away the key without a doubt, without a second thought. the rules should apply evenly to everybody because we're all supposed to be free citizens of a free society. In a little bit lighter news, I saw that Wayne Rooney, who I love because I'm such a huge soccer fan, and he's come to DC United, which is the club that I love since the MLS began. They won 3 out of the first 4 MLS championships. Back when they didn't have PKs, they used to do that crazy one-on-one dribble up on the keeper thing, which was totally for show, totally ridiculous. At the time, it was what it was. Now they've come to Jesus and they've come back to FIFA, and they stick pretty firmly to FIFA rules in the MLS these days. But that's history. It happened. I remember it. Marco Echeverri and John Harkes and some of the the starting beginning players for DC United. I remember it well. I was a kid. I was obsessed with soccer, and they were winning the cup. It was great. So Wayne Rooney's come, and this is great that the MLS can we can raise American players in it. We can also bring over some European players who, are maybe done with the European game, but they can still hack it pretty well over here because we're playing at a lower level. Let's be honest. So apparently Wayne Rooney got arrested or something, and he, as we say, he fell into the trap. If you ever read Roy Keane's book that many of my friends enjoy quoting and talking about, he let down the gaffer and fell into the trap. Apparently he was highly intoxicated and was arrested. First I heard Maryland, then I heard Loudoun County, which Loudoun County is where I live and where I grew up. So interesting. Little concern for the lad, but I'm thinking that, he's just has some free time. He's got some money to burn. He's getting out and enjoying himself. Maybe he just needs to have a best friend with him like me to be like, hey, Wayne, you forgot to take your Intox Detox, and let's catch an Uber to the next bar. By the way, you're still paying. I want to tell you a little bit about some of my personal projects, and I try not to be too personal, but I have a couple things going on. I've got a new fitness book that for about the last 20 years, I've been really obsessed with fitness. Not obsessed, but, at different levels, doing powerlifting, bodybuilding, working out, trying to stay healthy. At the beginning, my goal was just to get bigger, and I got bigger and all that stuff. And, eventually you get bigger and your joints start hurting, and, you kind of look at the bigger picture and say, well, I just want to be healthy. I want to be fit. And that I've gleaned from all this time and some of the experts that I've found that have guided me to, sort of getting really good results in fitness without nearly as much effort as a lot of people think you have to put. And it's really not about the time you spend. It's about what you're doing and how you spend that time, in my opinion. So I'm compiling this into a book. It's called Finits. It's Fitness in Minutes. And of course, the whole premise, I have another book. It's an old book, but it's The Slacker's Guide to Rapid Fat Loss. And again, it was the same premise. I was doing the same things, only my methods have evolved because I've learned more. And the guys, I stand on the shoulders of giants, and they have learned more, and they've taught me more. And I'm sharing their stuff. I'm not stealing their stuff. What I do is I take their stuff and I apply it. I use information from 3 different experts on supplements, diet, and training, and I put it together for you in a nice little pretty package and say, try this, don't do this, don't do that. Here's how I make it work. This is what the law says, but you can break the law here. You can do this a little different and still get incredible results. So I am going to give that away for free to some people because I want to hear what people think. I want people to go try it. I know it's worked so well for me and a lot of my friends that I've given it to, different programs that come out of this information, but it just really simplifies things. And I think it's important to know that there's so much information out there. It's the beginning of the year. Everyone wants to work out and get in shape. They're trying to achieve all these goals that they didn't achieve last year, and that's a beautiful thing, and it's great to be motivated. But I want you to remember that just don't fall prey to gurus and people that want to coach you and sell you expensive stuff. I think I'm going to end up selling my book for $5 because when you really understand something, you can take something complex and make it simple. that comes from Brad Pilon, but I completely agree with him because he wrote Eat Stop Eat and a bunch of other books. He's basically my nutrition expert because he knows his stuff. He does his research. He documents and explains everything so well. I have nothing but trust for the guy, and I think he's a genius in his own right. He turned away from the supplement industry for the same reasons that I sometimes regret that I'm in it. He got out of it because so much of the industry is just using science in sort of disingenuous ways to sell products that don't really work. For my part, I created a product that has real good science and does work, but I'm in an industry where the paradigm is to create things that don't work and just spend all your money on marketing to sell crappy products. That's not my game. I don't like that. It's disgusting. That's why he got out of it, and he just researches nutrition and diet, and he writes about it. So trust him all the way, combining all these different concepts together so that you can get the best results possible with the least amount of effort, because we don't want to just be diet, nutrition, training, fitness obsessed people. Please don't. I did it for too long, and it ruined my heart and my mind and almost ruined my body because I beat myself up doing things I shouldn't have done, and it burned me out. And if you want to be a professional bodybuilder or a fitness competitor, more power to you. You got to get extreme. But it's the 80-20 principle. For the most of us, 80% of the results come from 20% of what you do. And if you're doing the right things, it's okay to make bad decisions sometimes. I mean, hey, this is not a great decision, but you know what? You can never drink for the rest of your life and you'll still die. You can have plenty of drinks and live a balanced life, eat a healthy diet, and it won't affect you negatively in almost at all if you do it the right way. It's just about balance. Balance is everything. So that's what the book is, just delivering balanced, science-backed strategies of balancing diet, exercise, and supplements. And if you build a good foundation of those things, you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about, then you're going to do well, even if you make some bad choices. So that's one of my personal projects. The other one is that I've been writing a pilot. For those of you that don't know, I was in screenwriting for 5 years. And it's one of the regrets of my life is that I really never got anything produced of my own writing. I was really close. I mean, I made some money at it, not enough money, which is why I moved on to other things. But it's always been a passion of mine to go back to. So I've got a pilot for like a Showtime HBO type show I've been talking about for a long time. And I finally just sat down and, like, as they say, you know, I stared at the blank page and I bled and I sweat and I kept me awake, and I'm almost done with it. So I'm proud of that. And we're going to try to get that out and see if we can't get that made. The series is called Drunkles, and it's about two uncles that are kind of lonely in life. It's kind of like The Odd Couple. They hang out together, they have drinks, they have fun together, but you know, ultimately their attachment to other people in life, because they have no family of their own, is through their nieces and nephews, their brothers and sisters' kids, that bring magic into their life and give them something to kind of like want to, I don't know, kind of give them something to want to pursue in life. You know, like there is hope for us. We're not just going to be, you know, all alone for the rest of our lives, living with your life partner, best friend, you know, hetero life partner, best friend. And that's kind of the premise of the whole thing. And it's, I think it came out really well. So if anybody's interested in that, I can send you that too, and you can check it out. Those are my personal projects. Let's get to something a little more fun. We're going to get to a sobering fact. And this one is just a onesie. It surprised me at $1 billion. As a comedian, Steve Harvey was homeless for 3 years. He's not a young man. And he's only been successful in the last couple of years. I don't know his history, but I was surprised to learn that. It was a sobering fact. I don't want to get too sober because we're about to do something more fun, at least for me. We're going to combine two different segments. One was a new one called The Squint, where we're looking a little more closely at specific lyrics from a song. And we also did drunk poetry. I got a little personal, maybe a little too personal, and read a poem I wrote for my daughter, who is the love of my life. I miss her right now. She's in bed. And I did that. And I said, should I have done that? It was like a people play, like a sympathy play, like you're gonna like me because I'm a dad or something. Not really. I was just sharing something that I wrote because I like the idea of a segment called Drunk Poetry, but I couldn't find any other poems that I wanted to read that were quick, and I just happened to have that one. So I shared it. I shared my heart with you. But the drunk poetry of today, because songs are really just, poetry with music behind them, is Peter Gabriel, Salisbury Hill. I've always loved this song. And while the words are not obscure at all, I mean, they're totally easy to understand. It's not listening to Eddie be like, like, I understand what the man's saying, but when you look closely at them, they're actually quite genius. So I'm going to read to you the lyrics from Salisbury Hill. We're going to do that. And then we're going to do a little squinting at a couple of them that really stand out to me. So let's go ahead and do that. I can't see you, obviously, and I can't see me because I'm reading this. So here we go. This is Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill. Climbing up on Salisbury Hill, I could see the city light. Wind was blowing, time stood still. Eagle flew out of the night. He was something to observe. Came in close, I heard a voice. Standing, stretching every nerve. Had to listen, had no choice. I did not believe the information. Just had to trust imagination. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things. I've come to take you home. To keep in silence, I resigned. My friends would think I was a nut. Turning water into wine. Open doors would soon be shut. So I went from day to day, though my life was in a rut, till I thought of what I'll say, which connection I should cut. I was feeling part of the scenery. I walked right out of the machinery. Hey, he said, grab your things. I've come to take you home. Hey, back home. Only I think in one of the editions he says, hey, boom booey, which I think is eagle for back home. Or maybe I'm crazy. That's not part of the lyrics. When illusions spin her net, I'm never where I want to be. In liberty, she pirouette. When I think that I am free. Watched by empty silhouettes who close their eyes but still can see. No one taught them etiquette. I will show another me. Today I don't need a replacement. I'll tell them what the smile on my face meant. My heart going boom. You can keep my things. They've come to take me home. It's my interpretive reading of that song. But I want to focus on just a few of these lyrics, and this would be The Squint. And I really love this 4-line little segment here. When illusions spin her net, I'm never where I want to be. In liberty she pirouette. When I think that I am free. I don't know why that always sticks out to me, but every time I listen to that song, I'm like, liberty she pirouette, man. And I don't know, maybe that's one of our through lines for this whole thing. Liberty tends to pirouette, and you got to pay attention because every time you think you're free, illusions spin their net and you don't know what's going on. So the drunk quote of today, it seems that I did not fill in. So apparently I didn't finish that part of my research. Lackluster research. But I felt the pressure to get an episode in, and I'm doing. So I think off the cuff, we can do something fun here. I'm going to give you one right now. It's going to be a good one. Drunk quote is this. We're going to do a shot of truth, and we're going to get out of here. You know what? For my drunk quote, I'm just going to go with tried and true American genius. To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Homer J. Simpson, of a little program you might have heard of called The Simpsons. Now, my shot of truth is going to be brutal, and yet it's also simple. So let me line that up for you. This could be painful. We've got this Irish theme here. My shot of truth comes with a story. Also comes with a shot glass. Got my little Irish shot glass here. And I'll show you what I'm shooting in a second, and I'm dreading it. I hope it's going to be okay. That's why I'm glad I took the Intox Detox. So my Irish cousins, I have a bunch of Irish cousins. My mom's father was born in Ireland, and he came over. He was a horse trainer and a horse jumper and trainer. And we have a big connection to the Kennedy family. Yes, those Kennedys. My mom's father, my grandfather, taught most of the Kennedys to ride horses. Those Kennedys. So they were tight with the family. He worked for them. He worked in their McLean estate here in Virginia. And so they grew up knowing JFK, Bobby Kennedy, Rose. They were kind of the help, but they were sort of part of the family in a way too. Sometimes they treated him right. Sometimes they did not. That's a whole other story. We got a whole thing behind the veil of Camelot. And maybe I should write a book about that. I've been thinking about it for a long time because my grandma, who has just passed away this year, told me a lot of stories, and it would do great honor to her to tell those stories and pass them on, which I would really like to do. But point being that my grandfather had 10 brothers and sisters, give or take, and they, in Ireland. So we have all these cousins, and we visited them, and they've come to visit us. And so on one particular visit, they come, and my cousin Orla, who's one of my favorites, she's a partier. She likes to have some drinks. She's very fun. She's good crack, as they say, which means she's super fun. While crack does not mean what crack means here, it's actually still pretty accurate for the kind of fun that they like to have. But of course, that's right up my alley. So they actually brought this bottle of Irish moonshine, and you can see that we've done some damage to it. And I'm actually quite terrified of this stuff. This was before Intox Detox was a thing. So we were drinking this hard, but I loved it when they brought it and we were like, how did you even get this into the country? Like, this is like something their neighbor made. This is not like off the shelf. This is not Jameson. This is Scanlon, or, Scanlon's their family name, or Morin is their other family name. This is the real shit, the people's drink, which, much like going to West Virginia and drinking moonshine, can be fun and it can be quite dangerous. In a good way. So they brought this bottle, and my mom said to them, oh, what a beautiful gift. We'll display it behind the bar. And my cousin Orla said, bullshit, we're drinking that. And I said, amen. And it was high fives all around. It was good times. And we did drink. I mean, I feel like we did a big part of this. But what I'm going to do in honor of you and of them, I'm going to do a little shot of this. I'm going to mix it with something because this stuff is hot. I mean, there's no label on here. I don't know what's in here. All I know is it burns and it hurts. But I'm willing to go through that pain for you. This is our shot of truth. I'm going to do about half, and I'm going to mix it with a cordial because, yeah, I'm going to be that guy. Now, if my cousins were here and it was going off, if you were here and we were really getting down into it, I would totally go all the way, no doubt. But this is drunk news, not dead news. So I'm going to keep it a little softer on this time, and we're going to do about a half pour. Can you see how terrified I am of this stuff? As much as I love liquor, and I do, I respect stuff like this. You see that? See how clear that is? I mean, I can see you. Can you see me? Or I can see the screen. It's white whiskey, but it also tastes a little bit like tastes just a little bit like tequila to me. I think it's made from corn. You would think it would be made from potatoes because it's Irish, but I don't know. To me, it always tasted a little bit like corn. So I am mixing this with, because I know it tastes a little bit like tequila, this Avion Espresso liqueur, and hopefully that will help save me. I have nothing but faith in the Intox Detox. Before our shot of truth, I want to mention Intox Detox again. We also have this 15 serving bottle, which I think is pretty sexy. These little packages are super convenient for when you want to just stick it in your pocket, head to the bar. It's right there. You pull it out, get a glass of water, take them down. This is great for just bulk. You got more servings, and it's a lower purchase price because we can eliminate all the packaging, which is quite pricey when you're dealing with those blister packs that are sealed and, for your safety. So when you get the pill bottle, it's a bit cheaper. All right, we're going to do this shot of truth. I think the words will be underwhelming, and I think the shot for me will be overwhelming. But I will survive. I've seen worse. My shot of truth is, since the wall was a point of topic, I think my shot of truth for today is just Pink Floyd called it. Totally. Just listen to the album, smoke a little something or drink a little something, and it's all come true. It's all gone wrong. That's our shot of truth. Pray for me, and best to you and yours. Oh yeah, bringing back that brings back memories. Wow, that was a shot of truth. That was literally truth in a shot. Woo! And the coffee. Woo! Coffee, strong coffee and strong liquor. I want to thank you for watching. As always, this has been Drunk News Nne, which is Swahili for 4. And I'm glad you showed up. Come back again in our next editions, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're definitely going to have guests, and I'll get my green blazer back and, maybe pop this in.